Imagine you have taken the throne immediately after a global cleansing of the territories. Your signature is the law. Your taxes feed the army. And the chroniclers obediently write on paper what you have dictated to them. But there is a problem. Across the earth, there are giant structures with perfect geometry. Battles of iron birds are seen in the sky, and old books describe measures of length for journeys between stars. These artifacts are more dangerous than any rebellion. They scream that the world was global, unified, and technically perfect without your involvement. And your power looks like a pitiful attempt by a barbarian to control a spaceship. With one stroke, you change the measurement system, prohibit the old calendars with millennial cycles, and declare the real technical descriptions to be children's fairy tales about flying carpets and iron boots. What will you choose? To preserve the memory of the starry ancestors and risk losing control over minds, or to declare the past as the Dark Ages, so that no one ever thinks to look up at the sky? Now let's look at how this appeared in real history. Open any encyclopedia and find the article about the first artificial satellite of Earth. October 4th, 1957. The launch of the Soviet device Sputnik 1. A metallic sphere with a diameter of 58 centimeters, with 4 antennas sticking out at a certain angle. Look at the photographs. Remember the proportions, the placement of the elements, the shape of the antennas. Now open another file. The painting from 1595. The artist is Ventura Salimbeni, the Church of St. Lawrence, in an Italian town near Florence. The title of the work is The Glorification of the Mystery of the Eucharist. In the center of the composition, between the figures of Jesus and God the Father, an object is depicted. Not a symbol, not the Son, not the Holy Spirit in abstract form. A metallic sphere with 4 antennas at the same angle as that of the Soviet satellite. Compare for yourself the artist, 362 years before the space age, painted a technical object with detail accuracy. This is not an approximate resemblance, nor a play of imagination. The proportions match. The placement of the antennas is identical. Even the shape of the central sphere is repeated with engineering precision. Look at the details. The antennas are positioned symmetrically, at an angle of about 45 degrees to the body. This is how Soviet engineers arranged them for optimal signal reception and transmission. The painting shows the fasteners connecting the antennas to the body. Small nodes that the artist depicted with the precision of a draftsman. The surface of the sphere is not smooth. Segments, seams, and junctions of sections are distinguishable on it. This is how the body of the satellite looks when assembled from several parts. The most obvious explanation is a religious symbol, a sacred sphere that embodies divine unity. But then, why are 2 figures holding this object in their hands, rather than above their heads? Why is it positioned between them, like a technical device, rather than floating in the heavens? And most importantly, why does the symbol have antennas at a specific angle? Why does the symbol have a mounting and seams on its body? If the artist were to paint an abstract symbol, he would simplify the form. He would create a perfect sphere, an even glow, symmetrical rays. But he outlined the technical details. Details that have no religious meaning, but have an engineering one. This is not a coincidence. And now look at the bigger picture. This image is not unique. Medieval frescoes across Europe depict flying objects with people inside. Beings in helmets, strange machines in the sky. If it were a single work, one could attribute it to the artist's imagination. But when there are dozens of such images scattered across continents, created by authors who have never met each other, it is no longer imagination. It is memory. Artists of the 15th and 16th centuries saw these objects. Not in a dream, not in religious ecstasy. They saw them in reality, or knew about them from the recent past, when these devices still flew over the cities. Thus, space technologies existed long before the 20th century. And if they existed, there should not only be images, but also blueprints, technical descriptions, instructions. The city of Sibiu, Romania, 1961. A professor from the University of Bucharest discovers a manuscript during excavations in the surroundings of the city. It was found in a buried room, which is already strange. The room was intentionally buried, as if someone tried to hide its contents. The manuscript was sealed in a niche, locked with wax and clay. Such packaging protects against moisture and time. Someone really wanted these knowledge to be preserved. Dating, the 15th century, possibly earlier. The content is shocking. On the pages of the manuscript are detailed drawings of multi-stage rockets. Not primitive sketches, but full-fledged technical diagrams with calculations. 2-stage and 3-stage designs, various types of fuel, descriptions of flights to the moon. There are proportions of the stages, connection points, stabilization systems specified. Variants of nozzles for different types of fuel are even outlined. One page is fully dedicated to the calculation of the trajectory. Parabolic curves, points of stage separation, course correction. The modern engineer recognizes basic principles of ballistics in these formulas. The one who drew this understood the physics of flight, understood how to overcome gravity, how to calculate speed, how to reach orbit. Calculate. In the 15th century, there was not even an idea of space in modern understanding. Copernicus had not yet published his heliocentric system. People believed that the Earth was flat, or that celestial bodies revolved around it. But someone was drawing rockets, calculating trajectories, describing fuel. The official version is fantasy. They say that medieval alchemists dreamed of flight, and that's why they drew all sorts of nonsense. Okay, let's assume these are fantasies. Then explain why there are engineering calculations in these fantasies. Fantasists do not describe the bottlenecks of fuel production. Dreamers do not specify the exact proportions of rocket stages. This is not how science fiction writers write. This is how engineers write, who either did it or are rewriting the manual from those who did. And this is not the only manuscript. The book by Kazimir Semyonovich, mid-15th century, The Great Art of Artillery. The same multi-stage rockets, the same complex design solutions. Moreover, the author does not claim this as his own invention. He describes the history of rocket construction by various civilizations before him. He states directly, "This was earlier. I am only recording it." These manuscripts are not inventions. They are copies, rewritten remnants of technical manuals from a more ancient civilization. Someone preserved knowledge, knowing that it was disappearing, hiding it in filled rooms, buried, sealed, saving it from destruction. But if there were technologies, there must remain not only paper blueprints, there should be material traces, objects, and they exist. Before the first launch of the Soviet satellite, astronomers carefully studied the near-Earth orbit. It was necessary to understand what was circulating there, what natural obstacles existed. And they discovered an object, unidentified, symmetrical, clearly of artificial origin. It was named the Black Knight. This happened before the launch of the first satellite. Remember this fact. The object was detected earlier than humanity supposedly began to explore orbit. Astronomers observed it as early as the late 1940s. Nikola Tesla claimed in 1929 that he had caught radio signals from space, regular pulses that did not correspond to known natural sources. Perhaps he detected a transmission from the Black Knight. Look at the photographs taken by NASA. This is not a meteorite fragment, not space debris. The symmetrical shape, visible cabin, size significantly larger than the first satellites. The length of the object is about 10 meters. For comparison, the Soviet Sputnik 1 had a diameter of 58 centimeters. The Black Knight is 15 to 20 times larger. This is not a reconnaissance satellite. This is a manned craft. The orbit is also strange. A polar orbit that passes over both poles. Such a trajectory allows for observing the entire surface of the planet. The first artificial satellites flew in equatorial orbits, easier to launch, less fuel expenditure. A polar orbit requires more energy, more precision. Why would an ancient object need such a complex trajectory? Because it is an observation station. It monitored the planet. Now, many will write in the comments, space debris, fragments from early launches, meteorite shards. Okay, so whose trash is this? The object was discovered before the start of the space race. Before the USSR and the USA launched anything into orbit. Where did the trash come from? Who left it? And the second question, the debris does not maintain a symmetrical shape. The fragments are chaotic. But the Black Knight has a clear structure, a cockpit for the pilot, control elements. This is not debris. This is a remnant of orbital infrastructure. One more detail. The object does not spin randomly like debris. It is oriented in a certain way relative to the Earth. It seems to maintain a specified position. The stabilization systems are still operational, or they were until recently. And now for the most interesting part. NASA has classified all the photos of the Black Knight taken in the 1960s. Officially, the photographs are lost. In reality, they are hidden because they show construction details that cannot be explained as a random space debris. So, someone was flying into orbit regularly, so regularly that they left objects there. And for regular flights, ground infrastructure is needed. Spaceports, runways, hangars. Nazca Lines, Peru. Officially, ritual drawings of ancient Indians. Giant images of animals and geometric figures visible only from the air. This is strange in itself. Why draw something that cannot be seen from the ground? But look not at the drawings, but at what lies between them. Perfectly straight strips several kilometers long. One of the strips reaches 37 kilometers. The width is 50 meters. The ground is compacted. All stones have been removed. The surface is leveled with a precision that is not needed for ritual purposes. Geometric precision, as if someone had measured with a laser. Deviation from a straight line is less than 1 meter per 10 kilometers. Compare with a modern runway. The same requirements. A flat surface, absence of obstacles, specific width and length. International aviation standards require a deviation of no more than 1.5 meters per kilometer. The Nazca Lines fit within this regulation. Coincidence? And one more detail. The surface of the stripes has been treated thermally. The stones are fused and compressed into a monolithic surface. Such treatment gives strength and resistance to erosion. Modern technologies use a similar method to strengthen the soil at airfields: thermal sintering. But this is a 20th century technology. How did the ancient Indians fuse stones over an area of tens of square kilometers? Now look at ancient Rome. Excavations reveal areas with stone masonry, huge rectangles measuring hundreds of meters. The Trajan Forum in Rome is 300 meters long and 185 wide. The stones are laid so tightly that a blade cannot be inserted between them. And the most interesting thing is that the masonry withstands vertical loads, not horizontal, as for markets or squares where people walk. Vertical, as if something heavy was supposed to settle on top. Engineers calculated the load-bearing capacity of such masonry. It withstands pressure up to 20 tons per square meter. For a person walking, 1 ton per square meter is sufficient. Why is there a 20-fold safety margin? Only if an object weighing hundreds of tons is placed on this surface. Historians refer to it as forums, market squares, and meeting places. At first glance, it sounds logical. But merchants do not need perfect geometry. People who walk do not need masonry that can support hundreds of tons. It is excessive. It is not rational, unless the purpose was different. Forums and markets are repurposed spaceports, landing pads for aircraft that turned into ordinary squares after the loss of technology. People continued to use these places, but no longer understood why they were built with such precision. There was infrastructure. There were devices. But who flew? What did they look like? Sumerian bas-reliefs that are thousands of years old. They depict creatures with identical attributes. What archaeologists call beaks are strange masks covering the face, wings on their backs, bags in their hands, devices on their wrists. South America, the culture of the Maya. A statuette of a sneaking jaguar, a dancer, made more than 1,000 years ago. The figure completely replicates the shape of an astronaut in a 20th century spacesuit. The helmet, the airtight suit, even the pose is identical. Altai, Scythian burials. They find a figurine that has been nicknamed the Scythian cosmonaut. The same elements: a helmet, a sealed suit, a life support system on the back. Look at the modern astronaut. The breathing mask is for working in an atmosphere without oxygen. The portable life support unit on the back is a bag with systems for maintaining pressure, temperature, and air supply. The device on the wrist is for quick orientation in space. Pilots wear the same. When flying at high speed, there is no time to look at the instrument panel. A quick glance at the wrist, you've oriented yourself. And now return to ancient images. Beaks are breathing masks. Bags are life support modules. Devices on the wrist are navigation. Wings are systems for flight. The most obvious explanation is ritual costumes. Bird masks, symbolic attributes of the gods. Well, then why are ritual costumes the same in cultures separated by oceans? The Maya in South America, the Sumerians in the Middle East, the Scythians in Asia, they never met. But they all carry the same bags in the same place. This is not symbolism. This is a technical necessity. The power supply of the spacesuit is always located in a specific place, because engineering dictates the optimal arrangement. And one more detail. Modern pilots wear compact devices on their wrist for quick orientation, just like in ancient deities. Coincidence? Or does function dictate form? Spacesuits have been preserved in stone. The blueprints have been preserved in manuscripts. Objects in orbit remain. The runways have not gone anywhere. But where are the evidences of the flights themselves? Where is the proof that these technologies were used on a massive scale? Nuremberg, April 1561. A celestial phenomenon witnessed by hundreds of observers. An engraving made by a contemporary of the events has been preserved. Officially, it is referred to as a natural phenomenon. A halo, the refraction of light in the clouds, an atmospheric anomaly. Look closely at the engraving. These are not clouds. In the sky, there are two groups of objects, large cylindrical shapes that the artist clearly separated from the background. Around them are many small spherical bodies. Some are flying in one direction, others in the opposite direction. Some are falling to the ground, leaving smoky trails. Witnesses describe this event not as a miracle of nature. They speak of a battle. Two fleets met in the sky over the city. The large ships released the small ones. The small ones attacked each other. Some lost control and fell. The fight lasted several hours, from early morning to noon. At first, one side had the advantage. Then the other counterattacked. By the end of the day, one group retreated to the east, the other to the west. Witnesses mention sounds, a loud rumble, crackling, explosions. One eyewitness wrote, "It was as if thousands of cannons were thundering." But the sound came not from the ground, but from the sky. After the battle, debris fell to the ground. Hot metal, strange fragments, which were quickly taken away by the city authorities. What happened to this debris is unknown. Documents about this have not survived. 5 years later, 1566, the city of Basel in Switzerland. Again, a celestial phenomenon. Again, hundreds of witnesses. Again, an engraving. This time, black spheres in the sky. They fly in groups, maneuver, change direction. Witnesses again describe it as a battle. The spheres attack each other. Some explode in the air. Others fall into the river. Locals tried to fish out the debris, but the authorities forbade approaching the crash site. Historians usually say that people did not understand natural phenomena and invented explanations based on what they knew. They saw clouds and thought they were the armies of the gods. But then, why does the phenomenon show a battle tactic? Groups attack each other, suffer losses, one retreats. Natural phenomena do not behave like that. Clouds do not divide into warring sides. Meteors do not maneuver in groups. And why do these events occur specifically in the middle of the 15th, 16th centuries? Not in antiquity, not in the 20th century. Precisely then, as if something happened during this period, something global. These were not natural anomalies. These were recorded aerial battles, a space war of the mid-15th century. And the result of this war was a catastrophe that destroyed the infrastructure of civilization. After the 15th century, something strange happens. Technologies do not just stop developing, they regress, and quite sharply, as if someone pressed the reset button. Until the 15th century, there are complex measures of distance. The distant distance is a specific unit of measurement. According to modern calculations, it is more than 5 trillion kilometers. Think about it. 5 trillion. These are interstellar distances. The distance to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is 40 trillion kilometers. So, the distant distance is a measure for calculating journeys between stars. Why would a civilization need a measure of length for space if it does not travel in space? There are measures of time comparable to the accuracy of atomic clocks. A sig is a fraction of a second. There are more than 300 million sigs in 1 second. Modern atomic clocks use approximately 30 oscillations of an electromagnetic wave as a basis. This is about 1 sig. Thus, the ancient civilization operated within the same timescales as our most precise instruments. Why measure millionths of a second if there are no high-speed processes? Such accuracy is necessary for navigation at high speeds, for synchronization of spacecraft systems, for calculating trajectories. After the 15th century, these measures disappear. Instead of long distances, versts and miles, the maximum measuring distance, several hundred kilometers. Instead of sigs, minutes and hours. Minimum accuracy, seconds. The regression is not just obvious, it is catastrophic. From interstellar distances to road distances, from millionths of a second to rough counting of time. And this concerns not only measurements. The technologies for metal processing are disappearing. Until the 15th century, there are Damascus blades that modern metallurgy cannot replicate. After the 15th century, the technology is lost. The recipes for alloys are disappearing. The methods of heat treatment are disappearing. Even the composition of some metal products from that time remains a mystery. Analysis shows components that cannot be combined into a single alloy using known methods. Historians usually say that technologies developed unevenly. There were periods of stagnation, and then again bursts of progress. Stagnation is when new construction stops. Here, they have forgotten how to use the old. These are different things. One cannot forget measures of distance in 50 years. People do not lose basic knowledge that quickly, unless there is a replacement of the population. And here is a fact that breaks the official version. In the 16th century, old calendars disappear simultaneously around the world. The Slavic calendar is abolished under Peter I. The Chinese one is adjusted. The Mayan calendar is lost. All of them contained cycles lasting thousands of years, indications of cosmic events. After the 15th century, only the Gregorian calendar remains, simple, primitive, without cosmic references. After the catastrophe, after the cosmic war of the mid-15th century, the survivors are not the bearers of technology. They are the service personnel, or migrants from other regions who did not know how the system works. The cities remained, the buildings remained, the infrastructure remained, but the people who built it disappeared. New inhabitants settled into empty houses, began to use the remaining mechanisms, not understanding their true purpose. Spaceports transformed into markets. Power stations became temples. Technical manuals turned into religious texts. But the memory has been preserved. Where? In the most unexpected place. Russian folk tales. We read them to children without thinking about their meaning. But try reading them not as a fairy tale, but as a technical description. Finiste the clear falcon. Nastya is looking for her groom. The blacksmith makes her 7 pairs of iron boots and 7 iron loaves. She sets off on her journey. Iron boots are protection from wear and overloads. During space travels, overloads reach several G. Ordinary footwear will not withstand it. Strong protection for the legs is needed, along with joint stabilization. Iron boots are not a metaphor. This is a description of an exoskeleton for the legs that can withstand extreme loads. 7 pairs, because the journey is long, parts wear out, and a backup is needed. Iron breads are a space diet. Modern astronauts eat freeze-dried food sealed in special packages. The products are processed in such a way that they do not spoil for months, do not require cooking, and contain all the necessary substances. It is these iron breads that make up 1 ration for 1 transition. 7 breads, 7 stages of the journey. The calculation of supplies, as in modern space travel. Nastinka walks for a long time. She reaches the valley where the trade Weitmans stand. This is not a metaphor. Weitmana is a spaceship in Slavic tradition. The word is preserved in the Vedas, in ancient texts. It is described as a flying apparatus capable of moving between worlds. Trade means civilian, not military. Transport ships for carrying cargo and passengers. She boards the Weitmana and departs from her native land. She does not walk on foot, does not sail on a ship. She departs. She flies away. Where? For 39 distant distances. Count. 1 distant distance is 5 trillion kilometers. Multiply by 39. It results in 195 trillion kilometers. This is interstellar distance. The distance to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is about 40 trillion kilometers. Nastya is flying 5 times further. To another star system, she arrives on a land where 2 moons shine. Not on Earth with a capital letter. On a land. Another planet. A planet with 2 satellites. The fairy tale clearly states 2 moons. Our Earth has 1 satellite. Therefore, this is another planet in another system. And there live people. There is her fiancé. This is not folklore. This is an exact technical description of interstellar travel, passed down orally through generations. When written sources were destroyed, memory was preserved in tales. Now many will write exaggerations, fairy tale images, children's imagination. The distant distance is not a metaphor. It is a specific measure of distance that was officially used until the 20th century. It was abolished along with other old measures with the introduction of the metric system. But it existed, and it measured cosmic distances. Iron breads. The description corresponds exactly to modern space food. Freeze-dried food, 1 ration for a specific period. Coincidence? Or did someone know how to eat in space? Another tale. The Scarlet Flower. A character gives a ring. Whoever puts it on their right pinky finger will find themselves wherever they wish, in a single eye's blink. An instant is not a figure of speech. It is a measure of time. 1 instant is equal to 760 moments. 1 moment is 160 sigs. By modern calculations, 761 millionths of a second. Teleportation in a fraction of a second. This is a description of technology, not of magic, not of a miracle. Technology of teleportation with exact indication of the time of movement. Fairy tales are remnants of technical descriptions. When written manuals were destroyed, knowledge was passed down orally, from generation to generation, across centuries, until they turned into children's stories. But the essence remained, and these tales are connected to one culture. Nastenka, in the tale of Fini, visits her mother's kurgan. The kurgan burial is a Scythian ritual. Only the Scythians buried their deceased in kurgans. All the astronauts' findings in ancient burials are Scythian burial mounds. Altai, Siberia, the Black Sea region, everywhere images of beings in spacesuits are found, there are Scythian kurgans. The global unified architecture, evidenced by buildings around the world, is referred to as Scythian in ancient sources. Travelers of the 17th and 18th centuries describe the cities of Siberia and Central Asia as Scythian. Not Tatar, not Mongolian. Scythian. A unified architectural style, unified construction technologies, unified symbols. Scythians are not nomads, as textbooks tell us. Scythians are representatives of a global civilization, the very one that will later be called Great Tartary, a civilization that possessed cosmic technologies. The name Scythian comes from the word skit, a fortified settlement. Not nomads in yurts, but builders of cities with strong fortifications. Historians usually say that the Scythians were primitive tribes who lived in yurts and engaged in cattle breeding. Then why do we find images of beings in spacesuits in their burials? Why are their rituals described in tales of space travel? Why is Scythian symbolism identical worldwide, from South America to Siberia? Why are Scythian burial mounds found on all continents, including America, where officially there couldn't be Scythians? And one more fact: Scythian gold. The jewelry from Scythian burial mounds is made with such precision that modern jewelers find it difficult to explain the technology. Granules with a diameter of fractions of a millimeter, soldered onto the product with a precision that requires magnifying instruments. Such work is only possible under a microscope. But microscopes were supposedly invented in the 17th century. Scythians are not an ethnicity. This is the self-name of the bearers of technologies, a global civilization that controlled the planet, and it was destroyed. In the mid-15th century, a cleansing began. The cosmic war that was recorded in Nuremberg and Basel is not a conflict of states. It is the last battle of a dying civilization. Tartary, on maps of the 17th, 18th centuries, occupies enormous territories. Then it disappears. It is simply erased from the maps. At the same time, the last mentions of space technologies vanish. This is not a coincidence. This is a cleanup. Civilization has been destroyed, but the buildings remain. The infrastructure remains. Spaceports, power stations, roads. All of this has not gone anywhere. Only those who understood how it works have disappeared. And then the new inhabitants came, the settlers, us. Enter the old building. Do not hurry. Just look around. Ceilings 10 to 12 meters high. Doors that a person must enter by bending down. Windows that start 3 meters above the floor. These buildings were not designed for us. The scales are excessive, the proportions uncomfortable. We live in them, but do not understand their true purpose. We did not build these cities. We inhabited them after the catastrophe. We found empty houses and began to live in them, not understanding who they were meant for, not knowing how the systems work. We just occupied someone else's space. The most obvious explanation is that our ancestors built it. Simply, the architectural style of that time required such scale. Well, then why do we not know the construction technologies? Why can we not replicate the masonry where a blade cannot be inserted between the stones? Why do modern builders study old buildings, trying to understand how it was done? If it was our ancestors who built it, where are the drawings? Where are the construction textbooks? Where is the continuity of knowledge? And another oddity. In the archives of European cities, there is no construction documentation for buildings before the 18th century. There are no estimates, no contracts with contractors, no descriptions of technologies, as if these houses appeared by themselves, or the documents were deliberately destroyed. Descendants remember. Descendants know the secrets of their ancestors. Settlers forget. Settlers use what they found, but do not understand how it works. We live in foreign cities. We use foreign infrastructure. We walk on foreign roads. And we do not ask questions. Spaceports have turned into markets. We trade in areas intended for the landing of aircraft. Power stations have become temples. We pray in buildings that once provided cities with free energy. Technical manuals have transformed into sacred texts. We read symbols, not understanding that these are instructions. We hide rocket blueprints in museums, calling them the fantasies of alchemists. The resettlement has happened. This is not theory. This is a fact that lies underfoot, literally. Enter the basement of an old building. What is now called a basement has windows with frames, decorated with moldings. Why decorate a basement window? Because this is not a basement. This is the first floor, buried under a cultural layer. The ground level has risen by 2 to 3 meters, not over thousands of years, over decades. After the catastrophe, after the clay flood, as some researchers call this event, cities were buried, buildings partially sank into the ground, and new residents simply remodeled the entrances higher and continued to live, not knowing that beneath their feet remained an entire level of an old civilization. And now, the strangest thing. Genetic studies show an inexplicable anomaly. In the area of the 15th to 16th centuries, there is a sharp change in genetic diversity in populations around the world. It's as if old lines terminate and new ones emerge. Officially, this is explained by epidemics. But epidemics kill the weak, while the strong survive. Here, the picture is different. Some groups completely disappear, while others appear out of nowhere. The chain comes to an end. Cosmic war, catastrophe, cleansing of territories, appearance of new inhabitants with shattered genetic memory. Everything adds up. But the main question remains, who won that war? If Tartaria lost, then someone won. Who currently controls the planet? Who organized the resettlement of new inhabitants into the empty cities? And most importantly, why were we forbidden to return to the stars? Technologies existed. The drawings remain. The manuscripts have been preserved. But access to them is denied. Everything is classified, hidden, masked under religious symbols or the fantasies of artists. We have learned to fly into space again, but only to where we are allowed, only to orbit, not further. The moon is closed. Mars is shown in pictures. Deep space is inaccessible. Why? Because there are traces left there, stations of the old civilization, bases on the moon, infrastructure on Mars, evidence that Scythian Tartaria controlled not only the Earth. And the one who won that war does not want us to see it. We are shown the sky through telescopes. We are told about distant galaxies. We are told that space is empty and cold. But we are not allowed to fly there. We are not allowed to see with our own eyes the ruins of bases on the far side of the moon. We are not allowed to see cities on Mars, buried in sand like our basements are buried in Earth. The lunar program is closed. The last flight was in 1972, 50 years ago. Technologies have advanced since then. The computer that controlled the lunar module is weaker than a modern phone. But we are not flying. Officially, there is no funding, no tasks. In reality, there is no permission. Mars missions show only robots. Rovers, probes, satellites. Everything is controlled from Earth. No crewed missions. No people on the surface. Because people can see what they should not. They can ask questions. They can find traces of an ancient civilization. Space was ours. We lost it. We were relocated to foreign cities and told that we built them. We were shown the stars and told that they were unattainable. We were given technology just enough to reach orbit, but not further. Surrounding space is a pen. We are kept within this orbit. We are not allowed to go further. But knowledge cannot be completely destroyed. It hides in sealed manuscripts, in fairy tales that no one takes seriously, in artifacts in orbit that are classified. The system could not erase all traces. This means that a return is possible. The only question is one: who will allow us this? And what will happen when we reach the stars again? Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so you won't miss new investigations. There are still many mysteries and discoveries ahead. We will continue to look for evidence, ask uncomfortable questions, explore what official science avoids.
Just mention that I'm doing these videos, but keep in mind that these are all AI. Majority of everything that I'm doing, these are all put together by AI. It's kind of weird that AI is being allowed to tell us about realities and truth, but other humans are being blocked. You know, that's why my channel don't go anywhere. It's totally blocked off, you know. So I played that moon video just now, but I don't know. I don't agree with any of what he's saying. I can prove most everything that they're saying is false. Just like I'm showing you now. You know, you can do your own videos and your own pictures of the moon and do what I'm doing to show it all to you. I'm trying to do it as calmly as I can, but it is a big deal. Shit. Just go back. Oh, man. I think I went back too far. Oh, no. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is a good one anyway, I guess. Oh, but it ain't gonna play. Alright, hold
on. You pick up two magnets, push them together, and there's this invisible something pushing back. flip one around and snap, they slam together so hard they almost take your finger off. What is that? What's actually happening there? Well, when you ask why about anything, you need a place to stand. You need things you already accept as true. Otherwise, you're just falling forever with why. It never ends. Let me show you. Why is your Aunt Minnie in the hospital? She slipped on ice and broke her hip. Okay, but why did she slip? Because ice is slippery. Everybody knows that. But why is ice slippery? That's actually interesting. When you stand on ice, the pressure melts a tiny layer on top. So you're really sliding on water. But then why does pressure melt ice? Because water expands when it freezes, one of the few substances that does that. So pressure wants to unexpand it. But why does water expand when it freezes? And why did she fall when she slipped? That's gravity. Now you're into the planets and the whole universe. Why does falling hurt? Why did her husband call the hospital? Because he cares about his wife. Does he, though? Not all husbands do when they're drunk and angry. You see what's happening? Every answer opens more questions. You have to stop somewhere, or you'll be asking why until you collapse. People want me to explain them in terms of something familiar, something they already understand. Maybe rubber bands? Maybe there's invisible rubber bands connecting the magnets, pulling them together? But that's cheating. If I tell you that, you'll be happy for 3 seconds. Then you'll ask, why do rubber bands pull back? And I'll have to tell you about forces between molecules, which are electrical forces, the same forces I'm trying to explain. So I'm running in circles, using the mystery to explain the mystery. That's not understanding, that's a con game. Electrical and magnetic forces are fundamental, they're bedrock. We don't explain them in terms of something else. We explain everything else in terms of them. Chemistry is electromagnetic forces between atoms. Biology is built on chemistry. The chair holding you up right now? Electromagnetic. Your whole body not falling apart? Electromagnetic. It's everywhere. It runs everything. But here's something funny. You don't think it's strange that you can't put your hand through a table? You push on it, it pushes back. Totally normal. You've done it your whole life. But your hand never actually touches the table. No, really. The atoms get close, and the electrons start repelling each other. That's what you feel as solid. That's what touching is. Same force, exact same force as the magnets. So why is the table obvious and the magnet mysterious? Just because you grew up pushing on tables and not pushing magnets together every day? The table is just as strange. You just stopped wondering about it. Electrical forces aren't just strong, they're monstrously strong. Compared to gravity, electromagnetism is stronger by...
All right, so I don't usually use this moon photo to do anything when I'm making videos. And I'll show you why. It's been manipulated. You probably just seen it. If you're paying attention, you probably just seen it. The pixels. There's different places where we can see the pixels have been messed with in this thing, right? That's one way that I just wanted to point out while we're coming across it. Another way is when these moon photos, these are from particular big wig outer space people who claim to have been to the moon, okay? Just put it that way. So it always bothered me that they colored certain things in. So this one image that I'm giving you is a full body image that I've been looking at the last couple of days because I like this one too. I do like it, but it's as far as I can tell so far, it's not realistic. All right, the dress is down here. The corset looks like a corset. You can see goes up this way, right? I'm going to keep changing my angles and distances of perspective. There is an angle where it looks more female, and this looks like hair, and this looks like hair. I remember I did have an angle for it. I think it's way over here somewhere. Yeah, it's way over here somewhere, but I'll find it later. But here's the general look at this, and I'm going to show you why it's fraudulent, and I can't really use it, but I'm pointing it out. No one's even notices most of the crap that I'm showing you anyway. There's images all over the fucking moon that blow this thing away, but I like it because I know it's fraudulent. If anybody else comes to see it and talk about it, this is what they're gonna hear. All right, so anyway, the corset, the dress. Now get this, okay? If you stay looking long enough, right, you can see the neck area, the face, the hair, this weird ear that's coming up like a devil ear or something. I don't know. Can't make that up, but I know I can get rid of it. I can crop it. There's a certain way to crop that where the face looks more feminine. All right, so now that you got the body, the dress, the torso, the corset, the neckline, the face, a little bit of hair if you wanted to on top, but don't count this as hair the way I'm looking because she's actually got a dog in her arms. That's one way I'm going to show it to you, right? So here's the back end of the dog. She's got a hand right here on the dog's hind leg. The dog's front legs are coming over this way. Here's her other arm, the whole arm with the hand, right? Then you got the dog's face coming out this way. That's why a few minutes ago I was going in so you could see that it's the dog's face laying down by the arm. I'm going in and out so I can show you details on it because there is an exact angle and distance of perspective for all imagery in order for us to see it clearly, and we're supposed to. But what they did with this one, these particular people, they always sabotage everything. They're always lying about everything. And I don't make a big deal out of it. I'm just pointing it out. So they added these colors. Now, you could say the same thing about me. I'm adding filters. I put filters on my camera when I'm doing this so I can add contrast. But the contrast I'm adding in my defense is it's in general. So it's everything. I'm not only adding it to one area, all right? So that's what I'm saying. So, and I'm not even adding it. I'm just adding filters. This way, it separates images better for you so you can see things better as I'm showing them to you. So like images like this that I like to show you where, let's say, head right here, big shoulders. I can get you 2 sets of breasts. She got the low riders here, full body imagery. All right, and these are all faces because all images are face within face within face. Even when I show you body imagery, that's why I always say it's feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast faces only. This is why. All right, her legs are down here. Her torso's in here, which is a face. That face right there that I've been bringing you into the last few days, right? Eye, nose, hairdo, hair coming down this way, right? You see the mouth down here, right? You see them good. So I've been bringing you guys in on anyone watching, on all these different images. But this one here, and I'll point out others as I go along, are actually phony. Now I want to show you why they're phony. They're not like this one because this one, just like all the rest of them, aside from the few I'm going to show you, all the other images are in every moon photograph and every moon video, and you cannot hide it from me. Then all of a sudden you show me this, which I can clearly see the images, especially because I've been through this over the years. I found this shit like 8 years ago. All right, so I've already been through it. I was so excited to find it because it was pretty clear, had a lot of color in it. But then when I realized whose moon photograph it was, I got suspicious. And there's others that came with this pile that are even worse. Their claim, just to let you know, is the heavy metals and minerals that are on the moon are what do this. They have their certain, they're full of crap. That's not the case. The true creator, this is the true creator system. The false creator / creator divided himself over and over again to build the biosystem. The biospecies, known as humans, taken that technology and hidden it from the rest of the human population. It's a small group of them, a couple thousand at the top. We know who they are. All right, so here's this big face, right? This kind of hides a lot of other things because it keeps standing out at you because of the color too, right? But I can still get you these certain things and show them to you. I'm going in right now into the Sea of Tranquility to show you that there's imagery in there. That's why I come out and then I go back in, because I'm showing you that it's in there, and I'm pointing it out with the camera, slowly going through so I can show you, right? That kind of thing. And as we go along, I'll talk more about what it is I'm showing you and blah, 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 blah. But what this does when they do shit like this is when I'm trying to get you other images, I'm going to have a harder time getting you to see them. Over here in the Sea of Tranquility, here's the burst that comes out of the Sea of Tranquility. Here are all the timelines that I keep telling you about here and there in my videos when I'm talking about these timelines. I keep going past them and I'm doing shit with my camera so that you see them without me having to keep talking about them, right? Eye here, nose right here, mouth down here, beard down here, goes all the way around. He's got his ear here and he's got beard around him. See him? He's bald-headed. Then I can come this way, and then you got this eye up here working with this eye. Same thing. But I can get the pupils, right? Yeah, I can. So I can keep moving my camera around because it's all about angles and distances of perspective. It's all about lights and shadows and blah, blah, blah. And I'll get into more of that later. But right now, I'm going to start driving my camera in a little bit closer to this one particular image. Sorry to keep shaking around. I'm going to go in on this one just to show you a couple things of why it's fake and why it should not be paid attention to. And I know this. Hold on a minute. I'm going to have to reset my... I have to reset things now. All right, so first of all, we got the pixel problem going on. There's a lot of square pixels going on. Now, this image right here, normally, and I do show it all the time because I like it also. This is a black human face, a human face of a black man. He's got, again, someone that's telling you in one breath that there's no body imagery and inanimate objects are bullshit. It's just in our minds, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So he's a black man, but they changed the color of his skin. They got it orange on this side. They got it orange on this side. They got his face turned blue, right? Because normally when I bring any color by this image, and I know where to find the angles and distances, and they hit his eyes with pixels of red. They put red in here and hid the pixels, claiming that this is the moon's real colors. Now, normally, I could come right about here, and I could, where's my cropper? And I could crop for you right here. Hold on. Normally, I could do this, and I could show them to you really good. I could bring you right in on his eyes so that you see that it's a human face. You get the color of his skin no matter where I go. It just gets better and better normally. Not in this case, because now they changed all this to be used as a corset. The face is being used as a blue corset, and the corset comes up onto here and turns kind of red to add to other red colors that are going on in here. So it's not realistic, all right? This whole thing's, and they're doing it intentionally to hide certain things, because there are a lot of images in here of all different colors, all different nationalities, right? All right, so now let me just show you one more time how bad this is. All right, so normally I could get you the whole torso. I could be able to point out to you that, all right, this is a chain. He's wearing a big gold chain, even got earrings on, some kind of shit going on the sides. First of all, they turned this into an upside-down cross, which I've never seen anywhere else other than here. Normally, this is a triangle coming out, which I can still see the triangle a little bit, but they also did add an upside-down cross that I can see in here now. I'll get my stick out of the way. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, right there. Right there. So they did add that. It's kind of, hidden a little bit, but I noticed it. And it won't be upside down when I rotate my moon, but I just happen to notice it, which is not in any other moon photo anywhere, okay? Then there's this other little triangle that comes off the back of this normally. That would be normally, would be two triangles. And when I put my cropper in there, which those triangles work to be parts of other images. But if I crop it with the camera, then I know how to lose them that way, right? And I come over this way. But this is not the angle and distances for distance of perspective for that particular image. So you have to come back over and it has to be cropped, which the moon shadow, what you call the moon shadow, which is not a moon shadow at all, would normally do that for us when it's coming through, and it would tell us something. So then we would look and say, oh, that's the image of that black dude right here. He's cropped off tonight. As the moon's coming around, that particular dude is cropped off. You could put a name on him if you want, right? But he shouldn't be named by the same people who are hiding all this from us. And I will show you this image very good. He's one of my favorite. And there are a lot of black and brown and yellow and not a lot of yellow, but a lot of black and brown and other colors. I don't really see a lot of Asian descent. And I did look into some other things that were on my mind years ago about that when I was first starting out. I wanted to show you this before I run off on another tangent. All right, so now we're going to get in deep now. We're going to go in deep on these colors. I can do this on paper as well as the computer. It doesn't matter. When you print the moon, all the little fucking details everywhere, all these little details that you're not even paying attention to. Like when I look in here, right, I can already start seeing eye, nose, mouth down here. I see the outside. You see the outline of the imagery that's everywhere that the builders build, because this is the builders building all this for us. All right, so they're already there. They're in here too as well, not just in these dark areas where I can get you good lights and shadows. That's why I like to move the camera on to show you that none of this ever changes. This is the moon. It's not like clouds that are floating by. This is never going to change, right? All right, so all these little tiny little nooks and crannies that draw out the moon, right? When you come in here and they started coloring them in, they bled the colors past the lines. Now these lines, they may have belonged to the true creator, and that may be true, but the false creator/creator has stolen this system and built a bio build. This moon acts as a clock, number one, and then number two, it's the false creator/creator's clock. The true creator doesn't have a clock. And I don't think that we as humans need to be living off a clock either. I think it's bad for us. If we did, we should be living off the false creator/creator's clock, okay? Okay, second thing that the moon works as is an electromagnetic nanocarbon regulator when issuing souls to the bio realm. That means all souls. What creatures have souls? Well, right off the bat, I'm going to say feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, faces only, all over the place, right? So how did we develop bodies then, and how did the false creator/creator do the rest of his build? By division. Everything was built by division. I will show you, between showing you a large face, then when you look into the torso and you look into the rest of the body. Now, the only thing I can say about dresses and jewelry and wearing apparel, and as a matter of fact, I think even one of these canines, it looks like it has a chain on them, a collar. I can only say that that's us seeing what we want to see. There's more to this than seeing a dress. I'm seeing a dress on this, and but there's another way to look at this same image with these areas coming down. First of all, it doesn't even work this is the only time I ever see it work as a dress is in this moon photo right here, and the other ones that are put out by some place that matches the sound of NAFA. All right, which is weird that we can't say anything anymore. Also, that's another weird thing. But anyways, so they bled the colors. So when I'm going in right now, you can look at all the little lines that are there by the false creator/creator, stealing the builders from the true creator. The moon never changes. All right, so see, if you look at the lines, that's the first thing. This is the first thing I'm going to mention. And you can also see at the same time, but not as good as I'm going to show you in a minute. All right, maybe if I come over here, I can show you. Let me come this way a little. Okay, there we go. All right. So what I'm trying to show you guys is when you look at the color, it overbleeds the lines. And another thing is they did it digitally. Making sure I can't get the eyes. Yeah, normally I can get the eyes really good. You can get the skin color really good. Everything shows proper, right? The shape of the face. As a matter of fact, when I say black man, he's actually, the shape of the face is Indian. It's a black Indian man, or, Eastern Indian, maybe even, real Indian, not native Indian, not real Indian. From India, right? Over that way, which I understand. India wasn't always India either. So, he's very dark skinned, Indian looking face. I'll show you on another moon photo when I get over to a real one. But right now, I just want to point out all this. So also in here, a lot of these images, yes, they may be real to the moon, when I look in on them, right, like this face here, that's the monkey face that's between her arms. See her arm right here, and her hand goes over. So in one way, it's a dog, and this is the dog's arms coming down this way. And in another one, it's an ape face. See the nose and the eyes and the lips and everything like that. It's an ape face that's in her arm. Right? But I can go over to another one over here because it's face within face within face all over. And we can keep going down the line and just keep going to the next face that's in her body, right? It's a human face right here. In white, eye. Matter of fact, it's right below part of her face because there's her eye. And I call her even though it looks very male right here. It looks very male. Even the haircut looks male. I'm trying to get a good angle. There you go. So, you can see how male it looks. And then it's got this weird ear thing coming off the side of the face right here. But you can see the neck, see the Adam's apple and everything, for fuck's sakes. To know that it's male. It goes down to the torso, the chest area where I was telling you. Again, image within image, because there's the image that was in her chest. That's how I looked up and saw her face. Anyways, then over here, right next to that human image of a human, is another ape face, monkey, whatever, right here. See his whole face, right? Yeah. Next to a human face. Let's get that monkey. What point was I making? Okay, so the point I'm making is the colors are all bleeding over. So I can go in and I can prove that, yes, this is a true moon photograph. But when I'm out at this distance, all of a sudden, I'm getting this image that does not belong as far as I can see. This is man-made because if man-made, man added these colors that overshadow and go past the false creator/creator's work, right? Which is all these little nooks and crannies that I'm trying to show you, even like up here and shit, right? So if I come up here, again, I'm back in the Sea of Tranquility. Let me get my pointer over there. Eye, nose, mouth, and I'll try to get the angle for you. There you go. I can get them better, right? Now you can get the rest of the head, the face. Now see all those little nooks and crannies in there that are making up that? There you go. There's another big face. So all those little nooks and crannies, they mean something because that's the false creator/creator's work. That's how you know. That's how you can judge time as it's going around in a clockwise rotation. But if you keep believing that this is a fucking ball and that we live on a ball, and this means something about astrology and has not, right? So everybody's all fucked up. And zero and infinity, this is how I can prove zero and infinity are fake, which that means that the clock that we go by should not have tens in it. So we should go back to the 1 through 9 clock, which just means that all math should be changed. I mean, it's so big, it's huge. It's everything. It's everything. And you guys just keep going in with the fucking slavery every bit of the way. It's unbelievable. All right. So again, I'm trying to show you that part first. So that colors are over bleeding. No one else would know that. Anybody else that comes to this would not know that. Yeah, some of the images that do belong there are coming in a little more clear. Now, I looked for this image many times on a regular photo, and I can do it now, but I have to use my imagination. I can't do it with the false creator / creator's work. Just doesn't work. I have to use what humans had done here and this particular photo, and then I can, kind of do the same thing they did. Bypass the false creator / creator's work. That doesn't make any sense. This, by the way, these faces here, this is the necklace. This is the necklace on that thing, by the way. Again, image within image within image. Remember I told you there's a big chain on the neck? Oh, there it is. So I'm just going in on it. Which is more faces, of course, just like I keep saying. So I'm trying to show you all the overbleed, how things are overbleeding. There's another face there, but that's not the right place for the eyes, and it doesn't look like the same. Eye there, mouth down here. Yeah, that's wrong. I mean, I'll look for it. I mean, let's see, the tracing is good, though. I mean, the colors are within the line, see? So if the color's within a line, I'm okay with that. So I guess that might be, let's see if it bleeds out. Yeah, it don't seem to bleed out right there, but all these other places definitely bleeds out, like right there on the cross for sure. I'll have to go look and make sure, but maybe, I don't know. I just don't like it. I just don't like over bleeding the colors. It's just unnecessary. I probably have to take the filter off to show it to you better, because I'm not seeing being able to show it to you that good right now. Let me see. Yeah, and I definitely can't get the real face here. Look at this over here. Look at all that. That's the Sea of Tranquility over there. Where you're seeing all them faces over there come in when I move the camera around. All right. So did I prove my point? I guess I can try to do it right here. Let's see if it's on the line. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So they're just overspilling color where they want it. It just don't seem fair to me. Why would you not leave it alone and let it naturally let us naturally see it? Why are you trying to portray other images that are not there? I mean, I know why. Because a bunch of fucking liars. Everybody's a bunch of liars. I gotta say though too. Let me make sure. I'll go to another moon photo. I'm gonna go set up at the same exact spot, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. So keep in mind, the arm right here, the dog's face over here, this part of the dog, her other hand holding the dog here, her face is right here, the torso and everything, which I'm gonna show you when we get there. That the face I can get in a lot better on a real photo. And then remember the dress that she's wearing, whatever the. And maybe I can hide so many other. It stands out so much that it hides other images in my opinion, too, is another thing. Even when I'm trying to get the proper angle of distance or something, it's still, if that comes in the frame, all of a sudden people will be like, oh, wow, look at that, look at that. You know, if anybody was to ever say that. I don't think so. Anybody would ever say that, though, probably. Let's see. It's amazing. Yeah, so she's from over here, I think. Yeah. All right, give me a second. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm just going to let you look at that for a minute, and then I'm going to change the photo and then see what I can show you. Let's listen to this while we do this.
Force. Exact same force as the magnets. So why is the table obvious and the magnet mysterious? Just because you grew up pushing on tables and not pushing magnets together every day? The table is just as strange. You just stopped wondering about it. Electrical forces aren't just strong, they're monstrously strong. Compared to gravity, electromagnetism is stronger by something like 1 followed by 40 zeros. I don't even know the name for that number. It's not much stronger. It's incomprehensibly, absurdly stronger. So why don't we notice? Because atoms are balanced. Positive charges in the middle, negative charges around the outside, plus and minus, everything neutralizes. The most powerful force in nature, hiding in plain sight because it cancels itself out. When you comb your hair and pick up bits of paper, you rubbed off a few electrons. Just a few. But the force is so gigantic that even that tiny imbalance creates something you can see across the room. And magnets are special because of what happens in iron. Electrons spin. They all spin. And in most materials, they spin every which way. Chaos.
All right, so it's another way to remember her, too. Her face ends up being several eyes.
And when
Top
they
of her
cooperate
face
like
is
that,
an eye.
All those tiny magnetic effects don't
For
cancel
this one.
anymore. They add up. They amplify. And suddenly, you've got something you can feel from far away. That's why iron is magnetic and copper isn't.
Her
Copper has
chest
the
is
same
an eye.
physics, same
this
electrons,
one.
same forces. But the spins point randomly. In iron, they work together. It's like a stadium full of people. If everyone talks at once, you hear noise, nothing. But if everyone chants the same word, you hear it miles away. Same voices, completely different effect.
Right.
Now let's go deeper. What's actually happening when two magnets pull toward each other? At the most fundamental level, it's about particles being exchanged. See, electrons don't just sit there. They're constantly throwing things at each other. Photons, little packets of light. And I don't mean light you can see. These are what we call virtual photons. They exist only during the interaction. You can never catch one and look at it directly.
Okay.
One electron throws a photon, another electron catches it.
You know what? I think I can get her
and that
even
exchange
better
is what
on
we
another one.
experience as the electromagnetic field. It sounds strange, right? Two things pushing or pulling each other by throwing stuff back and forth.
I can.
But that's
I can
exactly
see
what's
it
happening.
better than I could
Every time
before.
you feel a magnet push against another magnet, trillions upon trillions of these virtual photons are being exchanged between the electrons in both pieces of metal. And here's the beautiful thing. Everything electromagnetic comes from just three simple
Why did they
actions.
put it in
A
blue?
photon goes from one place to another.
Why did they go
An
over
electron
the-
goes from one place to another. And an electron emits or absorbs a photon. That's it. Three actions.
So it's just the
And from those
pixels
three
that I
actions, you
don't
get all
like
of
in the
chemistry,
other one, I guess,
all
then,
of light,
because
all of magnetism,
we're gonna look
all
at
of
this, but it
electricity,
looks
radio
like-
waves, the colors you see, the fact that your hand stops at the table instead of going through it, all of it. There are no gears underneath, no hidden mechanism. Don't ask, but how does it really work? Because this is how it really works. Photons being exchanged. That's the bottom. That's as deep as it goes. Now, people figured out the complete mathematics for electricity and magnetism in 1873. Maxwell wrote down the equations that unified the whole thing. And this was probably the most fundamental transformation, the most remarkable change in human history. Because once you understand that electrical and magnetic forces are connected, that they're really two aspects of the same phenomenon, you can do things. You can make a current in a wire create a magnetic field. You can move a magnet near a wire and create a current. Back and forth, electricity and magnetism dancing together. Think about what that means. There's a dam somewhere, water falls, turns a big wheel. That wheel is connected to copper wire spinning near some iron. And because the copper moves near the iron, electrons start moving in the wire. That movement travels through thin copper lines spread across the whole city. And at the other end, another piece of copper and iron turns that electron movement back into spinning motion. All the wheels in the city turn because one wheel at the dam turns. Stop that one, they all stop. Start it again, they all start. And what's doing this? Just copper and iron, nothing else. It's not complicated machinery, it's not some special substance. It's just the fundamental nature of electromagnetism. You move iron here, iron moves over there, far away, connected by nothing but copper wire. What a fantastic thing nature is. We built everything on this. Lights, machines, all of it running because electrons dance through wires. Now here's something remarkable. We can calculate how magnetic an electron is. Not guess, not estimate. Calculate. Using just those three simple actions. Photon goes here, electron goes there, electron absorbs photon. You add up all the ways these things can happen, all the different paths.
All right, so I can see her. I mean, I can definitely see her all, including the dress and everything like that. But why did they pixel the hell out of everything? And why did they overbleed? Let's make sure they overbleed. Yeah. All right. All right, let me check the cross. I guess it's about the same too, if I go in at that angle. Guess I just never noticed. All right, because if I go in at that angle, I get it. But otherwise, if I'm out here. So, all right, they didn't change as much as I thought. My apologies. But it's way over pixeled still. I'm still going to stick to that until I show you this. All right, so I can find the angle and distances of perspective for this guy right here. The one I was just showing you. I'm trying to take off the triangle so I can show you his shoulder and stuff like that, right? And I'm going to come back over so I can show you his face. See what I mean? He's got dark skin. He's dark skin or dark image or whatever however you want to call it. And I'm trying to come out to his body, get rid of this triangle and crop his body right here. I also at the same time need to crop up here or his head looks funny. It doesn't look right. It looks like, because he's supposed to be cropped. Obviously, we stick to the timeline. He's supposed to be cropped right in here. Right? Yeah. Yeah, right here is where he's supposed to be cropped. And then I got to find his angle and distances of perspective to find, there we go. So that's one version of him, right? But I can get in on his eyes and his pupil. To get you in on his eyes a little better. But he doesn't look African to me. He looks dark-skinned Indian or some version of. Okay, I'm trying to get you his eyes better. There you go. Now I got him looking in a different direction. He's looking over to his right. Instead of looking straight, his pupils came over to this side now from where I am. I'm going to go back over this way, watch his eyes follow. Trying to get you his torso. I'm going to go in on the chain a little better so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to change my angle a little bit. Let's see. There we go. And you see how the chain goes up around his shoulder and around his neck and all that. I wish I could do this too at the same time, because again, everything's collaged. So which I've been through this before. On this particular image, I've actually put electrical tape on the monitor and got them real good, just totally get them in there. All right, okay, so now that same area does still work as a torso for her. And, you wonder why I'm still calling her, because I guess because the idea that she has a dress on. But that dress can also be worked as a thigh and another leg on the other side. I remember finding that angle for her. And it's weird because as good as I can see her, even in this one, she's not something I go after a lot. Probably because I didn't believe in it. But I'm starting to now. But she's really hard to show unless you do unless you color her in. Let me see if I can get it good on her face. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I can. So see, her face is the same as the other one, but just as ugly. But there is and then let's see, the monkey. Where is he? See if he looks the same. Where is he? Right here, right? We gotta start over. So in her arms, and I was looking down here. I do remember that under the monkey. I think I'm looking too high. I see human faces, but I don't see the monkey, the ape. Oh, here he is. Here he is. No, looks pretty human too, right here. I think that's him. Seems a little further up, closer to her face, but what the hell do I know? Look at this fucking thing too, with the face looking sideways. So there's eye here, nose here, mouth here, chin here. Can see her neck. It looks female, but I don't see any hair yet. Let me go up a little. You can see her ear and everything. I'm going up to see what her hair looks like. It looks female, but let's look at that for a minute while we're here. I guess it could be male. There's the monkey anyways, the ape face that I wanted to see. So really that right here. He looks a little more human than in the other one. What did I do different? I just have to find the right angle, but that's close enough. The colors match and all that. And then the dog's face is right here, because here's her arm. Right, there's her arm. Let me get back here, I'll show you. Okay, so there's her arm. And then here's the dog's face. And this is pretty much the same thing as the other one. I have to find his angle. So that's an ape face too. I just have to find the angle for the canine. Oh, here, it's way over here. I don't know, is that her arm? arm should be this way. But anyways, I kind of like this too, now that I saw this. All right, let's find the angle and distance of perspective. So she was right near the ape face, actually. So if I crop over here at the ape face, we'll go with that one first. Because it goes human. Of course, they all do. But then this one, I like this. Especially now that anytime I find something new that I know I can find real easy like this, and I can come right to it, it makes her making easy videos. So let's get you up on her so you can see her real good. She definitely looks female. The eyes look female. I'm gonna get, it's a, what do you call it, silhouette, right? Oh, there's her hair. All right. I'm just trying to get rid of this spike coming out of the nose. There's probably a reason for it. I'll look later. Oh, wow. All right. So she's down here is her best look is down here. So don't give her too much hair. Just give her her neck. To keep her feminine looking, I can't go up too far. The further up I go, I think the less feminine she looks. So let's do this. There she is. Wow. I want her neck back. Let's look around without the cropper. I'm trying to see how long she looks feminine, how far around I go. Okay, so she's kind of small right here. Huh. I go up next. I go too high and I get the next one. He's right here. I like that. Oh yeah. This is a fucking moon, people. Come on. So anyway, so I was wrong about the image. It's there. It's there. I can get it all. I can even get it more clear than I got it now. I just use a darker filter. The only thing I still don't like about it is, like I said, the other one has all those pixels in it, which take away from detail anyway. So I probably won't use it that often anyway. Yeah, because I mean, they're cheating us out of detail. They're giving us wrong information by adding color to it. Just leave it the fuck alone. And then if anyone wants to use filters, I don't see any harm in that because the filters only transfer a different contrast. They don't change lines. It's not changing lines by overdrawing color or exaggerating anything or anything like that. You know, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Probably what our eyes were supposed to do, which is kind of why I'm playing the videos that I'm playing today, because we've been so fucked with, and we do it to ourselves. That's the other shitty thing. We just all do it to ourselves. It's all us.
And you get a number. And when you measure what nature actually does with very precise instruments, the theory and the experiment match to an extraordinary degree. The difference between prediction and measurement is so tiny, it's like measuring the distance from Los Angeles to New York and being accurate to less than the thickness of a human hair. That kind of precision doesn't happen anywhere else in science. This is the most accurate prediction humans have ever made about anything, and it comes from understanding the electromagnetic force. The same force you felt as a kid pushing two magnets together. So we can describe magnetism with extraordinary precision. We can predict exactly what it will do. But can we explain why it exists in terms of something more familiar? No. And that's not because we failed. That's because electromagnetic forces are.
All right, this is back to the other one. Another reason why I like this one too. So now I'm glad I know I can use it. Yeah, it does have a lot of good detail. I can see everything more clearly. Like these timelines that are coming out everywhere. I can see where they're dropping through. Here's the one I was looking at the other day. I was showing it to you guys. It comes right down this face. That's nice. When I go to start rolling in and showing you where I'm cropping, 99% of the time I'm cropping on timelines. Sometimes I go against big timelines in order to bring a light or a shadow in from another angle. I do notice myself doing that, and then I usually regret it because it doesn't do me any good. I'm better off staying on the timeline that I'm trying to show you. Otherwise, it's going to confuse your eye, because then you start seeing all these other images to your left or right of the camera more so than you're seeing what it is I'm pointing at. And the thing I'm pointing at may be right at the exact perfect angle and distance of perspective that I want you to see it, but it's, let's say right here, use this one as an example. Eye, nose, mouth down here, beard down here, going around, his ears over here, big fucking face, right? And then I can make them smaller. I don't make them smaller. I just move my hands around and tighten up the image. And then I can go over to this other one because it's also eye moves. Or I can go to that one here, right? We can move it around. So if I'm trying to show you something, the reason why I even take the camera off is because none of those things are at the perfect angle and distance of perspective. I can find a much better one to show it to you much easier. I can drop the camera right on the top of a set of eyes so that you understand and see what it is I'm showing you, right? I can go like that. Then I can pull the camera this way and mess with the lights and shadows. So you, again, get the whole face in there so that good images like this one that are all colored in don't distract you. That's another reason why it shouldn't be colored in, because it acts as a distraction, really. And here we go again. See, look at the difference in the eyes. I can't see that's eyes, and I can't see that it's supposed to be a black man or an Indian, or can't make out any nationality in that face, you know. And then same thing with the rest of the body. Why change the color? The color of the body should be matching the color of the face on this particular image. I know that's the way it is because I looked at enough moon photos to fucking know that. So the fact that they changed all this and put their own color in, They did it in some other areas too. There's some color added here. And I never really looked into it. I guess I'll have to while I'm screwing around right in here somewhere. I don't know that it made a big deal out of anything, but we'll see. Maybe there's something special about it. That's why they do those certain areas. Anyways, here's another big one that I wanted to show you, and this is why it aggravates me. Not that anybody else would notice this, but I do. When they put these photos up here, this is a photograph of the moon. Now, I take my own moon photograph, so I know that it's a real moon photograph. I get that. But when you start digitally playing with pixels like this, someone like me gets upset because, see this fucking square in here, right? There's no right angles in the True Creative System, the same way there are no circles in the True Creative System. Even though I'm showing you that this moon looks like a circle, that's just us. That's the human concept of it. Really, the false creator / creator doesn't use any circles. No zeros. There's no zeros in the math. No circles. I mean, I'll still use this, but again, look, watch. I'll show you. Let me go over to where it's really bothersome to me. Let me see. There was somewhere over here that it really stuck out at me. See, like if I'm going to show you this face right here, for example, I think I can use that as an example. Yeah, I can. All right. So I'm going to switch this around so I can get in there and show you. All right. So there's a face. Hold on. Sorry for being so shaky. I'm trying to get in there. Let's see. This way. And this way, right there. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of them, but I'm just picking that one right there. I mean, there's thousands of faces within faces, so yeah, I see a lot of this squaring going on here. So let's see if I can show it to you. So now I'm going to come back out. Let me get another face right there. There you go. Okay, and that's in the Sea of Tranquility, by the way. That's kind of that area, see? All right, so now that I showed you that, I'm going to show you that this whole square area is pixeled. Look at the line. Line goes up, goes over, comes down like this, and then over this way. Am I right? Yep. So it's not even a square. And they added another line right here, it looks like, unless that's one of the natural timelines coming out of here, possible. But that square definitely does not belong there. See it? So what did they change in that area that they had to cut out a square, change the pixel, and I don't know because I don't know this. Let me see. If it's a image that I'm very familiar with, okay. If not, then I got to go verify. Otherwise, I don't know if what belongs here or not for images. Let me think about that. Now, I probably won't know because you know what? This is also the Sea of Tranquility, which I don't spend a lot of time in. For myself, I do, but not to try showing anyone else because anybody sees me coming over here, they just don't get it. I mean, I can show you the images in there, but you're just not going to get it. Everyone's having a hard enough time even showing you over here where I can show you things clearly and good and everything like that. And here it's more difficult. Not to see, not to show you necessarily, but more. That's the Sea of Tranquility right there. The imagery's fucking banging. All right, see? So I can find my angles and distances of perspective. We're down here. You know, I can do that all over the fucking place. We can, have a great time. Anyways, so that bothers me. So they changed that. Another area it looks like they changed when I look with my eyes. Let's see. Right around here somewhere. Right around here I see another straight line. Too straight to belong there. Yep. There is. Where does it end? They didn't cut nothing out from there, but they definitely, maybe they add their color. When they added their color, but they didn't. They did add a little color up there. Yeah, and they added color here too, which does help me when I'm showing you guys. This is one of the photos that definitely I can show you this area a lot better than some of the others because of their color in there. So I don't know. I guess I'll still use it anyways, the photo. And then over here is another reason. See what? That's the same fucking timeline. I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure. It is. It is. All right. So this is the same timeline, coincidentally, that I used the other day. It's probably because I just like the timeline because of where it comes down. But it comes down here. And it cuts off this face of this wizard. And it cuts off all these other faces, right? So I'll just do it right now. So it cuts off all this. Oh, I gotta come from the other side. There we go. And I'm trying to stay away from the timeline. The timeline's right there. You can still see it. I'm trying to let you see it so that you see what's still showing. So you see what's still there when I'm on that timeline. I want you to see the timeline though. Because that's exactly what this is all about. When what we think is the moon's shadow comes through and crescenting the moon and blocking the moon in either direction, that's exactly what's happening. That's why you see me put my hand in a ball when the moon's coming through this way, because I'm cropping that way. If I crop this way around some images, it doesn't work. Like right here, when I was trying to take this out earlier, I got to be like this inside the timeline in order to show you what I want to show you. That's the best visual anyways of getting anything on that. So, what am I going to do here? I'm going to look around a little more. It's already been an hour and something minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. All right. I guess I want to try to play the rest of this, though, because this was a good video.
The familiar thing that explains everything else. Now, there's a number in physics that nobody can explain. It's about 0.085, or if you flip it around and square it, you get roughly 137. This number determines how strong the electromagnetic force is, how strongly magnets attract, how much electrons repel each other. Everything about electricity and magnetism depends on it, and nobody knows where it comes from. We didn't calculate it from something deeper. It just is that number. If you ask why 137 and not 200 or 50, there's no answer. It's one of the great damn mysteries of physics. Where did this number come from? Did somebody write it down and we just don't know how? If that number were very different, magnets would be stronger or weaker. Atoms wouldn't hold together the way they do. Chemistry would change completely. We probably wouldn't exist. The whole universe, including every magnet you've ever touched, depends on this mysterious 137. Now I have to tell you something about the history, because when physicists first tried to calculate magnetic properties of electrons using quantum theory, they got nonsense. Infinity. The equations gave infinity. That's not an answer. And for years, people struggled with this. Then around 1948, a solution appeared. The idea is that we never measure a bare electron by itself. What we measure is always the electron plus all its interactions, all those virtual photons being exchanged. So you start from what you actually measure, and the infinities get absorbed into those measured quantities. Everything comes out finite. It's called renormalization.
There might be
some people think it's
another angle that it's up here, but the dog's legs come down
here. But the results match experiments to incredible precision.
There's her arm.
So
going up,
maybe that's
holding
just
the
how
top of the
nature
dog
is.
that way.
Now, here's something about understanding magnets at the deepest level. The way quantum mechanics works, it's nothing like everyday experience. Your brain evolved to understand rocks and trees and animals, things at human scale. But electrons don't behave like tiny balls. They don't orbit the nucleus like little planets. People say electrons act like waves.
Yeah,
Not
that works
exactly.
out to be your hair.
Like particles?
and back, so.
Not exactly.
Or is it
Like a fog? No,
back
that's
end
not
of the
right
dog?
either. If you want a clear picture of what's happening inside a magnet at the atomic level, something you can visualize, I can't give you one. Nobody can. What we have is mathematics. We write equations, we calculate, and predictions match reality with extraordinary accuracy. It's like a machine that calculates
pretty damn
exactly
good.
when something will arrive somewhere. It does the arithmetic perfectly, gives exact
Damn,
answers,
she's ugly though.
but has no picture in its head.
She's so
It doesn't
fucking
know
ugly.
what anything looks like. It just calculates. We calculate what magnets will do. We're extraordinarily good at it, better than almost anything else in science. But the intuitive picture, the ability to really see what's happening, that's beyond us. Nature at that scale is genuinely different from anything we evolved to understand. And that brings us back to where we started. You push two magnets together, you feel that force, and you ask, what is that? And the honest answer is, it's electrons exchanging virtual photons. It's spins lining up in iron. It's the electromagnetic force that holds your entire body together and runs the whole universe. We can describe it with spectacular precision, but if you want me to explain it in terms of rubber bands or springs or something you already know, I can't, because those things are explained by electromagnetism, not the other way around. Magnetism isn't the mystery that needs explaining.
Yeah,
Magnetism is the explanation.
yeah, it's her hair going back.
Magnetism isn't
Another
some
direction.
strange, isolated phenomenon. It's part of the electromagnetic
I
force.
can't explain that
one
here.
of the
I
fundamental
don't know.
forces of nature.
Maybe that's for
Every
another
atom in
angle.
your body is
It
held
works
together
to
by
something.
it.
I don't.
Every
just don't
chemical
see it.
reaction depends on it. When you see colors, that's electromagnetism. When you touch something solid, that's electromagnetism. When a compass points north, when a motor spins, it's all the same force. And it all comes from just three simple actions. A photon goes from here to there. An electron goes from here to there. An electron emits or absorbs a photon. That's it. Three things: chemistry, biology, the structure of matter. It all emerges from these three actions combining in countless ways. There are no gears underneath. There's no deeper mechanism hiding behind. This is how it really works. And we can calculate what will happen with precision that matches experiments to 10 decimal places. Like measuring from Los Angeles to New York, accurate to a human hair. That's not philosophy. That's experimental science. If it agrees with experiment, it's right. Now, does that mean we understand everything? No. That mysterious number, 137, nobody knows where it comes from. We can't picture what electrons actually do at the quantum level. We describe nature with mathematics that works, but our mental images are always approximations. But here's the thing. Physics is experimental. You don't sit around waiting to understand everything perfectly. You learn enough to predict what happens, you test it, and if it works, you use it. That dam with copper wire making wheels turn across the city? That works, because we understand electromagnetism well enough. Not perfectly, well enough. And when you asked why magnets attract, you wanted an answer in terms of something familiar. Rubber bands, springs, invisible strings. But the answer is that magnetism is the familiar thing. You just didn't realize it. Every time you've touched anything in your life, you were feeling electromagnetic forces. Every solid object, every surface, that's electrons pushing against electrons. You've been swimming in electromagnetism since the day you were born. Magnets just make it obvious. They let you feel at a distance what's usually hidden at tiny scales. So next time you pick up a magnet and feel that push or pull, don't think of it as mysterious. Think of it as nature being honest with you for showing you directly what's usually invisible. The same force that holds your own hand together, acting across the space between two pieces of iron. That's what's happening. That's what you're feeling. And the fact that we can describe it, predict it, calculate it with such precision, that's not magic. That's just paying attention to what nature does and writing it down carefully.
Okay. All right, good enough. I'll be back.